the Breathing Bar. I'm Ahuvyah, your bartender, today and every day. And I'm excited to be back after taking the winter solstice to go deep. It was a phenomenal experience, and I'll be doing that a lot more. But for now, I'm ready to be back and to delve into the Spring Equinox with a lot of seeds that I have planted. The seedlings are starting to come up, and I'm so excited to share. And today, we're going into what we're eating and what we're drinking. So the Breathing Bar now has a nice light food menu. We're kind of doing really light stuff going into the spring detoxing. So to drink, I made some fresh walnut milk. And then I blended some cardamom seeds, some coriander seeds, a little bit of ginger, about 3 or 4 dates. And I just blended it together, strained it, warmed it up a tad bit, and just kind of sipped on that. Just settling my digestive system as I go into the spring. I went through some things in the winter, the stomach virus, and so I'm just nurturing my intestines and my stomach and my colon. So it was good. It was really good. And to eat, I made this wonderful sprouted black wild rice salad with fresh basil, fresh cilantro, purple onion, cucumbers. I had a blend of olives, and then I put tahini, a tad bit of sesame oil, and some fresh garlic. And then I just mixed it all up, and then I put sprouts over top of it, alfalfa sprouts, and it was really good. And so I've been eating a lot of light salads like that this week, raw or uncooked food. And actually the wild rice you can actually sprout. You don't have to cook it. And that is an option, because wild rice has a very chewy texture for the most part. But I found that forbidden rice sprouts and is fluffy and has a wonderful taste to it also. So anyway, today our topic is going into who are you? And this topic is going to go through the entire spring equinox, because the more people I talk to, I'm teaching, for some of you that know, and I'm teaching sustainable living and how to grow food at a school and here where I am. And I'm finding that so many people don't know what I feel to be the basics. And I'm definitely not saying who are you are the basics in the culture we were raised in, but the basics of even who they are in the culture and the belief systems they were raised in. So it's like a double sword. You know, not only do you not know who you are etherically as an energy being, as a sovereign being on this earth, who incarnated on this earth, you don't even know who you are as a part of the cultural reality in the physical realm that you incarnated into. So it's like trying to figure both things out at one time can be very challenging. And that's what I see happening, because with everything going on, I find a lot of people moving in fear and anxiety. And not that hasn't been the case most of the time, but now I see the criticalness of it, because the energy that has been created is so intense, especially over the last few decades. So now, whereas the doors were open to get a higher understanding and to find the discipline within yourself to really begin to move in a more intentional, focused way with your life and what you're doing, now people are having to figure it out right now, because so many things are happening and they're having to make decisions on the spot that they were comfortable not having to make before a lot of the trauma and upheaval started to happen. So now I have people running to me just trying to figure out, how do you live like you live, Ahuvyah? How do you do what you do, Ahuvyah? And I'm like, I've lived like this my whole life. And when I say I live like this, I've been nomadic my entire grown life. So I'll say from like 20, actually out of college, 21, so about 22, 23, I kind of went the nomadic route. And I just moved on spirit. And that's kind of how I've gone through life. But in the process of doing that and moving into the world of holistic wellness and sustainable living, I realized that I never wanted to be bound. So I don't own anything. Mine is a couple credit card bills that I'm paying off. But I have nothing that will ever hold me in a space. I don't have the car so that I have to stay and work to pay the note. I don't have the house. I don't have an apartment. And I've never bought one. And I just move around on spirit. And because that's the way I've done it, and I barter. I have a lot of skills. And so I'm very, 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 very useful in anybody's space. And that's a blessing. But I've been doing it for 30 some years, So when I explain it to people now, it's like, this has just been my life. Your life is yours for a reason. And for those who are locked in, there are beautiful things you receive. Many have families. I'm nomadic. It's just me. I don't have that connection with children or a relationship. And my family I love, but I've always been able to just flow and go. I'm not the most attachable person. But as I evolve spiritually and etherically, I understand who I am and why I have been given the attributes that I have been given and what they were for and what they are now, where they are now needed. So I say all that to say, it's challenging to know who you are if you've never had to ask yourself that question, if the answers were given to you. They were given to you by culture, race, gender, and then there's so many other ways we've defined our existence as energy. We define emotions, which are energy. We define each other, which are energy. And so we define thoughts and perception, which is all at the end of the day energy. And energy is intense, or it can be mild. It has a frequency, but that's all it is. So as we dig deep in this season of who are you? The who are you I'm looking for, and the U stands for your own understanding. So what is your own understanding? Who are you? It's an acronym, your own understanding. And to get there, you have to begin to shed the belief systems. You have to begin to come with a clear slate, with an open mind, to be able to discipline yourself to receive information without thinking about it, but just letting it come in and fall where it may. What happens is we think so much when somebody says something to us. In that moment, we take it in and think. And that's how we were conditioned. So we all do it. What I have learned to do more and more is to take the information in. If it doesn't go in smoothly, if it's rough or I feel a certain way as it goes in, I take a few breaths. I let it go in and stay in my agitation. I acknowledge my agitation or annoyance, or even I may just start, judging it at that moment. Because that initial hit, I have to honor how I felt that initial moment. But then I let it go because I said, Ahuvyah, you got to let it in because it came to you for a reason. So once I get over my moment, I take some deep breaths, let it in, and then usually I go to sleep on it. To me, sleeping is the best elixir, especially for people on a budget. Okay, go to sleep. But as I go to sleep, I say, okay, we're going to sleep. I need to get the understanding I need to have on this. And the next morning it's there. I can't think of one time where I didn't say I need the understanding in the morning. The understanding wasn't there. Or at least, enough understanding for me to kind of go down that path and get a larger understanding. So we're going to go into your own understanding. Your understanding, that first thought that you may shoot down because you have to go to work. Or someone tells you to do something you don't want to do and you know why you don't want to do it and it's valid, but you do it anyway. And it's not about whether you do things you don't want to do. It's whether you're doing them intentionally and you know you don't want to, but you're doing them right now because you're working towards something. So if you're being intentional, that doesn't mean that it's not going to keep you outside of yourself. It doesn't mean that it may not keep you imbalanced, but at least you're in awareness, which is a powerful place to be in because you're doing things by choice. But then you have to take responsibility for the things that you're feeling, in all honesty, because you're doing it by choice. And you can't blame others. You can't blame society. You can't blame culture, government, because you've made your choice. And no matter what, you can make a different choice. And a lot of times people say, I can make a different choice, but this will happen, this will happen. Yeah, all that may happen. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you can make a different choice. And so sometimes, I get a lot of slack coming back because they give me reasons and reasons and reasons of what could happen. And I got to pay this and I got to take care of it. Yeah, you've created all that and you do have to honor whatever it is you have to honor. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that you can make a choice. So your own understanding is how you find the balance as you navigate your way out of the reality that you don't want. It's not someone else's understanding for you. It's your understanding based on whatever comes to you, whatever you know, whatever variables have been percolating to get you to the point where you are right now. A lot of people think that if they listen to someone else, that their answer will come. No, because basically that person's speaking their answer, their understanding, and it comes into you. What happens is that energy comes in and it settles wherever it doesn't have resistance within you. But when it comes back out of you, it's really not the other person's answer anymore, it's yours. Because your answer is never going to be exactly like someone else's because you are not like anybody else. No matter what you've been defined to think. So it's time to step into your own understanding. Because you are your own greatest asset. You are your own greatest asset, but you don't even know it. And I say that because if you knew you were your greatest asset, you wouldn't be so attached to all these external stimuli that keeps you frustrated, annoyed, and bothered. You would ground yourself in acceptance, put on your armor, and say, okay, I'm going to go out here today, and this armor is going to be, it's going to deflect those things I don't want. I'm not going to go into battle. I'm just going into navigate. Move like a samurai. Just kind of move in the shadows, move through, and try not to be in resistance. Try not to bring friction, but allow myself to get to the other side as unscathed as I can, because I got enough, as a warrior, I got enough war wounds. So that's when you get into the space of a peaceful warrior, and that's what you end up working to become as you go into you, your own understanding, your blueprint. You came in this earth realm for a reason. So who are you? Who are you? Your own understanding is the most important thing for you right now. But you have to give yourself the time, the quiet, the stillness to even be able to tap into it. And the discipline, which is very hard because many of us weren't taught mental and emotional discipline. We a lot of times are disciplined when it comes to our mental emotional discipline, when it comes to physicality, our physicalness. But when it comes to our consciousness, we allow anything to go through our consciousness. Unfiltered, just anything. But when you discipline your consciousness, you begin to hear a clearer voice, a more aligned voice that will make sense and give you the wisdom you need to recalibrate your entire being, to help you get that balance you're seeking. So that's where we are as we come into the spring equinox. Who are you? And you are your own greatest asset. And you have to know that. So that's all I wanted to touch upon today. Again, we're sitting here chilling, drinking our nice, warm, frothy, homemade walnut milk and our wonderful, wonderful wild rice salad. And I'll talk to you again next week, but we're going to stay on this theme. We're going to stay on this theme of who are you? There's a lot of wonderful things coming up this spring here at the Breathing Bar. And it's a couple books that I've actually written that will be available in the next 3 months, if not sooner. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to share with you all. I will be actually starting a YouTube channel. My podcast is on the YouTube channel, but I will actually be starting a YouTube channel that goes deeper into these topics I'm talking about, where we can actually, give examples and take scenarios. You all write in scenarios that we will actually explore on the show. So again, you all have a wonderful, wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. This is Ahuvyah at the Breathing Bar, and I'm so honored to begin the spring equinox journey with you. Give thanks.